Hi, fourth graders. We are going to continue with division. We are on to lesson 3 today, and you're going to get a lot of practice with division with the algorithm that we used yesterday. We're going to have a couple of pictures that try and represent what we do with division as well. And so you're going to need scratch paper and a pencil like always, and your math journals today that will be pages that we'll be working on are 146, 147, and 148. So grab those materials right now if you don't have them. So this is not in your math journal. We want to look at a problem like this and see if we can visualize it and create a picture for it. So a grocer has 130 cans to put on 5 shelves. How many cans will fit on each shelf? And so we can start our idea here and say, here's our 5 shelves. And we're going to put spread out evenly in equal groups 130 cans on each of those shelves. And so that shelf is going to be our divisor. And 130 is our dividend. That's our total number that we're starting with. So we want to divide that into 5 equal groups. Well, that could look something like this, where you would have your 5 rows or 5 shelves. And if you kept adding a can or a square evenly to each one, 5 and 5 and 5 and 5, right? Eventually, we'd show that we have 26 cans on each shelf, or our quotient, our answer, is 26, and we didn't have any left over. There's an equal amount on each shelf, so there is no remainder. We can look at that. Oh, we're going to skip this page. We can look at that on page 146 in a similar way. Now, this is a different problem, but we want to go by place value and look at place value within these rectangles. And so let's look at problem number 5 on 146. It says, an orchard has 516 apples ready for delivery. There are the same number of apples in each of 4 crates. How many apples are in each crate? And so what we've done is we have 516 apples, and we split them into 4 crates. And they're all going to be equal, right? Equal amounts, equal groups. And so here's our 4 crates. And so we have to divide. It's 516, but now we want to think of that as 5 hundreds, just 1 10, and 6 ones. And we're going to look at our algorithm. And what you see in your workbook right here, that's going to be what we call the drop-down method that we'll learn in a couple of days, or the traditional method that your parents learned when they were in school. So if they've been helping you, that method will probably start to look familiar to you. All right, so each group is going to get 100, right? So if we look up here, we have our 500s. That would be 400, right? 1, 2, 3, 400. We don't have enough to give them 200. And so in our method, we would just say, we would say 100 fours and take away 400 apples. That's going to leave us with 116 apples. Well, what they did is they just put their 4 in their hundreds place. And they said, well, here's one group of 100. And so if I have 100 groups of 4, that's going to be 4 in the hundreds, and I didn't put the zeros here, and that's okay. I could have written 400, and that totally would have been fine, but they did the same thing we did. They subtracted it. So they subtracted 400, really, or 4 groups of 100, and now they have 100 left over here. Well, they still have the 16, right? And so what they did was they said, all right, let's bring down the 1 because we have 110. And so now I need to figure out how many 10s I can pull out. And you can see up here what they figured out was, well, if they have 11 10s, they can evenly distribute 2 10s to each one. And so they said 2 times 4, or really it's 20 times 4 is 80. Once again, they didn't put the 0 there. They're just holding place value. It's 80, and that's the same thing we would do. Right? But we would write that 0. We would say 24s is 80, and we'll subtract. And now we're going to get 36 left. Well, they have their 6, their 1s is up here, and so their 3 is right here. And so then what they did is they said, oh, well, we have, each group gets 2 10s, 3 1s, or 3 10s are left over, right? And so on this line, we would say, oh, there's 3 10s left. So we have to use them in our next number. So that's where they have their 36, because they had 6 ones and they still had 30 or 3 tens left over. And we did the same thing. And now we would just say there are 9 groups of 4 that can be pulled out of our remaining 36. And so that means once you add them all up, 100 plus 20 plus 9, that tells us there are 129 apples in each crate. We don't have any ones left over, so that means there is 0. That means there is 0 remainder. Okay, so this is eventually where you might be going, but if you're going to stick with this partial quotient method, that's totally fine as well. So let's look at 147 and let's get some practice. And I'm going to do one of these problems because we did several yesterday, and then we're just going to get some time to work. So on 147, let's do the first one together. Okay. And so when I'm working on 147, number 6, the very first one on the page, let's look at making this as simple as possible for us. So I know the way that I start. I'm going to draw my line down the side, and I'm going to start with, it's in the hundreds place, so can I pull out 100 fours? That's 400. Yes, I can. So I'm going to put 100 groups of 4 is 400. So if I'm thinking of apples again, if I had 868 total apples, I need to subtract 400 of those apples because I just put 100 groups of 4 onto their crates. And so when I subtract, I'm left with 468. One thing I noticed right away, I can do the same step again. I can take out 100 fours. And so do that. 100 fours is 400. And I subtract. 8 minus 0 is 8. 6 minus 0 is 6. 4 minus 4 is 0. Look at that. I'm getting pretty close already. So now, can I take out 100 fours again? No, not so much, right? 400 is way bigger than 68. But I'm going to keep it simple for myself, and I'm just going to say 10. I know all those tricks with my zeros. 10 fours is 40. So now I need to remove 40 apples. 8 minus 0 is 8. 6 minus 4 is 2. Ooh, all right, getting closer. Can I take out 10 again? Well, 10 times 4 is 40. That's too much. So how many groups of 4 can I get out of 28? Well, I might not know exactly how many that is. I could use my multiplication chart on page 50 to help me, but I know my 5s really well, so I'm just going to do that. 5 times 4 is 20. Ooh, getting close. 5 fours, when I subtract those 5 groups of 4 out, I'm only down to 8. And I could take out 1 4, but let's just take out 2. 2 times 4 is 8. When I subtract, I'm down to 0 now. All right, so I have no remainder, but now I need to add up all my groups. And so when I add, and you got to be careful with this, I have 100, 200, 210, 215, 200, 17, it would have been apples, but this is just practice, on each crate with no remainder. And we don't have to write remainder of 0. One thing I want to look at, we can just leave it as empty and we know there's no remainder, sorry. One thing I want to look at though is how could we do this in less steps? So we did it in 5 steps. Our goal is to do it in as few steps as possible. And this one you could do in 3 steps. And let's look at how that could be done. Sorry about that. And so what I notice here, I could combine these two. I could say, well, let's just take out 200 fours right away. Because really what this is this is close to 800. So if we just made these zeros like we did in lesson 1, I could say 4 can go into 800 200 times. So 200 times 4 is 800. And I need to subtract all of those apples, or whatever we're dealing with. And I have nothing left here. Now my next step, look what they did for their 10s. They took out 1 group of 10. Could I take out 2 groups of 10? No. So I did the shortest amount of steps for my 10s group. So I could say 10 fours again, just like I did, is going to be 40. And that's going to leave me with 28. And the one thing I didn't realize is that, oh, there is a number, a way that I can do 4 times something to get me to 28. I can combine my 1s groups. Instead of taking out 5 and then 2, I could have taken out 7 and said 7 times 4 is 28. And I subtract. Now I'm down to my 0 remainder, and same thing, 217 total groups, and now it was possible to do this problem in 3 steps. Doesn't matter, I got the right answer either way. This method really didn't take me that much longer, as long as you're getting it right. So you can finish those problems on page 147. I'm going to warn you, there are 2 problems that have remainders. So most of the problems, you should not have a remainder. So double check your work if you get one, but there are 2 where you will. And then the last part is word problems, but it's division word problems again. You don't have enough space to do your work over here for every problem. Use your whiteboard. Please don't cram your work in there, especially when you're using this partial quotients method and you get 5 or 6 steps in. Take all the space you need. All right. After you do 147 and 148, you are going to go into Think Central and do homework 3.3. Make sure you're asking your teacher if you have any questions at all.